Welcome back to the Fantasy Waiver Wire. It's your boy Tubby. Recapping, we're back for week 3. Recap, week 4, top waiver wire pickups. There's a lot out there on the waiver wire. Rough week for some, good week for others.
You don't have to
want to start off low, but fantasy football is so stressful throughout the week that when you win, it is a relief. It just is, man. I went, first of all, welcome back. I'm Tubby. What's up, Greg? Before we get going, man. What's up, Greg, man? Rough week for you. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Eagles won. That's good.
Yeah, that was good.
Always makes me feel good. No matter how they win, at least I feel good. And when the Cowboys lose, it feels like Christmas if it happens on the same day. What's up, man? Welcome back. Week 3, week 4. Let's go.
Yeah, that's about all I could hang my hat on this week. I mean, fantasy's been rough. I've had one fantasy win between both my leagues out of 3 weeks. So, yeah, I've got injuries everywhere. I got underperforming players. So, the good thing was that, the Eagles won, Cowboys lost. My Michigan Wolverines beat USC, which was huge. So, yeah, it was some things to enjoy this weekend sports-wise. And I'll be honest, I watch every game that I can, and there was some amazing performances this weekend. If you were a fantasy fan and you had some of these guys, everybody's guys were hitting except for mine.
Man.
Everybody's guys were hitting.
Man, it was it was an incredible week, man. I went from, and I'll bring the stats up, but just my mindset. I went from, man, I don't even know. I went from, it looks like I'm going to be able to win my matchup. And then Rashee Rice. I felt like every single pass went to Rashee Rice in that first half. I was just like, and I was going against Charbonnet, and I don't know if you watched the end of that Seahawks game.
Yeah.
Seemed like Charbonnet, rightfully so, because they're closing it out.
Yeah.
He just gets the ball. He's just getting chunk after chunk after chunk. And I'm sitting there like, I cannot believe this. Like stop. Then he gets 2 touchdowns because Taylor got me 2 earlier. And then boom, Charbonnet. Waiver pickup, right? You have Walker out there. Charbonnet fell down that list. And then boom, he gets my brother damn near 30. So that was a bit shaky.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yep. And then Buffalo happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He threw the first touchdown. I was bringing it up. Yeah. So I ended up winning. Thanks to Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a half that I really, really needed. And not only that, it won me the high score this week. I went from, man, can I even win my game, to boom, Josh Allen just shot me straight up the board, man. So crazy win. My brothers lost the high score back-to-back weeks, so I know that has to suck.
Yeah.
Absolutely has to suck, especially when you put up solid points. You look at the rest of our league.
Yeah.
177, that's solid points.
Yep.
That
would have beat most people. It would have beat just about everybody.
Yeah, man.
A couple.
And old Endless Cockpit here. He started coming back with Jaden Daniels, and he has Zach Moss. I was sitting there like, I'm glad I'm this far ahead, because this was crazy. It's just a garbage time.
My big thing was again Richardson not performing. So I said on our Thursday show I was going to give him one more shot. I thought that he, at home, because he played good week 1, that he could recapture that, but he obviously can't. He looks confused out there against good defenses. So that's what really cost me everything. I had a lot of good bench points that went to waste, and a lot of it was I had 39, for Aaron Rodgers, who I had on my bench, but yeah, and Bucky Irving, who I'm glad I pulled. That was one of my calls. I'm keeping him, of course.
Huge.
Picked Singletary off the waiver wire. Don't know why anybody would drop him. He's had 20-point games the last 2 weeks. I just haven't started him because I was trying to wait until 17, but I was trying to wait until my starters start performing like they're supposed to be. I've got DJ Moore, Brendan Ayuk, and it's just not giving me anything. Diggs had a nice week this week. Hunter Henry, I drafted Jake Ferguson, but he's been injured every week. And then you get that Thursday night game. I should have drafted, or I should have picked up a different tight end so I could have waited to see if Ferguson was going to play, but you don't know on Thursday. So I start Henry. Ferguson does play, and he plays better than most of the Cowboys. So it's just one of those things where if I had just made a few different moves, and of course the Cowboys defense is killing me. We were talking about it before the show, is that last year they were lights out on defense. You draft a defense, you either stream a defense or you draft a defense. And if you stream a defense within one of the first 3 defenses taken, you're expecting a good 15 points a week at least.
Right.
And they've been absolutely abysmal. They had -3 in my other league. So being an Eagles fan, like I said before the show, I'm almost tempted to just keep riding with them because apparently I'm doing something to that defense, with my bad luck. So,
man, the Cowboys, I mean, this score looked closer than it looks. That game looked over early, and then Baltimore just let up, and I was worried. I kept looking at the score. So I watched a little bit of. I forgot the other game that I was watching. I kept looking up, and I was like,
I was watching the Detroit game.
I think I had them all up on the square box, but I wasn't really. They got down so early. I was like, okay, cool, and I forgot which game had my attention. But man,
I was watching that game because they started to come back. They had the onside kick, first successful onside kick this year, but
crazy.
The refs, again, that was a disgraceful amount of bad calls toward the end of that game that I thought kind of took the Ravens out of it. But they had gotten away from passing the ball. They were strictly trying to run out the clock. They had such a lead. They were sitting on it. Unlike Buffalo. Buffalo just kept going for the jugular against Jacksonville. That's what you got to do in this league. Right. If anybody showed this, it's the Falcons. And there was somebody even wearing a Falcons 28-3 shirt in the Cowboys stadium. And it was crazy because they were down 28-6 at that point. And then, got the onside kick, drove it all the way back, got some quick touchdowns. And so they played really well in the fourth quarter. I hope that's not indicative of how things go for them going forward. They got the Giants this week, and the Giants showed some signs of life. So it's an interesting NFC East this year now with Jaden Daniels emerging. I lost to him. Jaden had not really pull up his game log because he wasn't lighting the world on fire. Yeah, exactly. He pulls out just a monstrous game against me. Of course he did.
Well, he had a game against me. I played him first week.
Yeah.
He had 39. I mean, 6-point difference, but
he wasn't really throwing the ball. It wasn't coming through in the passing game. You see that on the stats. He was on the ground, and he decides to have one of the best passing performance he had. It's obvious to say, even though it was Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's struggling right now with injuries and just a lot of mess, that Jaden Daniels has arrived. So congrats to my opponent for playing him this week.
Yeah, man. He's definitely had faith in him. Once I like I said, I got to see him first week, and I'm like, okay. Towards the end of the game, I get to watch him. I'm like, all right, man, this kid is real slippery. And then he just starts growing. I mean, he really hasn't. I mean, he's thrown the ball, over 20 times a game at least. So it was just everything worked out. And it played out really well for him. And the defense started that first half really well.
Oh yeah,
I kept looking up because I was watching the Buffalo game because I have Josh Allen, so I'm paying attention, to winning my game. So I wasn't watching the Washington game. But I looked up and I said, okay, 7, whatever, Look up and I see it's like 21. I'm like 21.
Yeah,
what's going on in that game over there?
I turned off the Buffalo game after the first quarter. I'm like, this is going to be an ass whooping. And it was a good game because there was no punts in the game. There was, I forget what else they said, no turnovers, which was really weird. So, and they just a missed field goal a couple times going forward on fourth down. What I'll say about Jaden Daniels that I saw last night was I saw a quarterback that's in his first year that is extremely poised, looking over to the sidelines, telling them to get their act together. Let's go. He so many titimes where he's waiting to play, and get me. I'm in the zone.
Man, give me the play.
And he had one bad overthrow when McLaurin was wide open, and that was in the early part of the game. I was like, ooh. And then after that, man, he was dropping dimes all over the field, and 2 to McLaurin that were just a thing of beauty, and 1 at the end of the game. It was right in the corner of the end zone. It's just like, wow, dude. So he's scary being an
With
Eagles
10
fan.
men.
What's that?
With 10 men on the field.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They didn't even field 11 players. You had a free runner coming off the edge.
Yeah.
He was just like, huh. But what helps Jaden Daniels is that he's 6'4". A lot of these tall quarterbacks, they aren't like your shorter quarterbacks where they need to create a pocket or a passing lane. You know, Josh Allen, when he steps out there, he's the biggest guy on the field most of the time anyway.
Right. Yep.
So when he looks up, he can see everything. That's why he can throw. You look at Josh Allen's throw, he's almost throwing it down. You got shorter quarterbacks like our quarterback, Jalen. Anybody's around that 6'1", they have to create those lanes. Justin Fields, they have to create those lanes. Russell Wilson, huh?
Kyler,
right. They have to create. You either have to create a passing lane so they can see it, or they have to kind of trust it when they're in the pocket, or get back far enough so they can see over the line, because everybody on our line is taller than Jalen. Yep. So he has to create a pocket. Yeah, passing lane. That's why he moves that pocket so much. But Jaden Daniels, you see, he's standing tall back there, man. He was standing tall right in the pocket and delivering, man. He has Ertz. Ertz was money.
Yeah, he was.
For him late in the game. So just even having a veteran champion tight end like that.
Yeah.
When you have a coach, you know, people laugh at Cliff Kingsbury, say he's a college coach, but hell, obviously he's relating to Jaden. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? Like, relate to your players, win football games.
He's a really good OC. He's a better OC than he was a head coach. And some guys are like that.
Right.
You need to just be calling the offensive play calls and thinking about the offense. And he's got a rapport with Jaden. I tell you what, there's a lot of bright future ahead for Washington. Unless he rams his head into a wall or does something like that or gets a massive knee injury, because we've seen that the downfall of Washington quarterbacks, either with an injury or self-inflicted. And yeah, so they got a bright future as long as he stays healthy, because he's dynamic. He's exciting to watch. Another guy exciting to watch. As much as that, another NFC East player, drafted early in the NFL draft this season.
LSU.
Yeah, amazing.
Wide receiver.
Another LSU wide receiver. So yeah, amazing player.
Them down there.
Yep. It was. Yeah, so I had another one that beat my ass this week.
Neighbors, man.
Yeah,
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
I thought Wendell Robinson would have been their workhorse, but because honestly, I didn't watch a whole lot of LSU. I've seen his name because I've seen the Daniels highlights in college. So if you see Daniels highlights, you're going to see Neighbors a lot. They got each other drafted, but I thought Wendell Robinson. I have him in my other league, so. If you are out there looking for a wide receiver, Wendell Robinson has been solid this year. Like I said, 14, 10, 17. That's a good at least flex. We have 2 flex, getting you at least double digits. 12 targets, 4, and then another 8 last week. So they're throwing the ball at a heavy clip out there with the Giants, man. These are both their receivers. 12 targets. 8, sorry, that's 20 just between these 2 guys right here, man. So,
and if they start playing defense, then it really, you look at the standings in the NFC East right now. It's a toss up. I mean, do the Eagles look after their performance, which we haven't talked about yet, their performance against the Saints? Do they look like the best team in the NFC East after that Saints win? Because the Saints put a whooping on Dallas in Dallas. The Eagles go into New Orleans after being humiliated on Monday night. And I mean, they just showed out defensively, especially because 15 points isn't all that great offensively. They made a lot of bad mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. Decision making wasn't great. But they hung in there toward the end. You had this big Saquon Barkley run and the huge Goddard pass. So for them to go into New Orleans, lose Devontae Smith during the game, not have A.J. Brown, and still come away with a win is attributed to how great the defense have played. Now, they got another big one going on the road to Tampa Bay, who's coming off a loss. Didn't play particularly well. That's always dangerous for me. I prefer to play a team that's playing well. I think if New Orleans had been beaten by Dallas, they would have played us extra hard. You're coming off a big win. You start getting more confident, and then that hurts you. You're at home, and you got this team that just got humiliated on Monday night. and they're determined. Now the Eagles are feeling good about themselves, celebrating in the locker room like they won the World Series. And I'm like, all right, you still got to go to Tampa Bay. There's still a long way to go. So no dancing in the locker room, guys. Let's focus on this one. And
you saw the relief.
Yeah.
You saw the relief because they knew they should have walked out of that game last week with a win.
For sure.
So, and then, hey, I'm sure I'm not the only one that was talking Cash Money about how the defense was playing. That wasn't the defense we saw the previous two games. Jalen Carter himself he set the tone for the entire game. Cesar Ruiz, excuse me, out of Camden, New Jersey. We went to the same high school for a couple years, and he went to the IMG Academy in Florida, and then eventually to Michigan. But he was getting destroyed. They put Jalen on him, and he was getting destroyed. The point last week with the line was, even if the numbers aren't in our favor, 4 versus 5, we drafted guys that require a double team. Does Jalen Carter require a double team? Yes, he does. Does Jordan Davis require a double team? He should. He shouldn't be able to block Jordan Davis one-on-one. That's not why we got you. We got you because they're going to have to put 2 on you. You put 2 on Davis, and then Carter needs 2. Where the hell is Bryce Huff?
Oh, yeah.
So I know I just threw that one in there, but it's just more like we haven't been seeing what we need from this line. There's a lot of anticipation with these guys. But last week, Jalen Carter really set the pace for everybody. Every play it seemed like that they made on defense, he was on the start of it. Rushing throws. Yeah. Just loved it, man. I love the way the defense played. Now, man, the turnovers. Go ahead.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say about the defensive line while we're on that subject is, you know me, I'm down on Vic Fangio. I don't think he's a genius. I think he had never won anywhere he's been, but he has got experience. And one of the things he did this week that I will give him credit for is switching to a 5-down line set, a 5-2, because what that did was the first 2 games when Green Bay and Atlanta were running all over Philadelphia was they were running away from our defensive tackles. They were spreading things out, and with 4 down linemen, they were able to get around the end and just make us look silly because the linebackers weren't tackling. They're back off the ball. Going with the 5 down linemen and then pinching the outside to force them either up the middle or around the end. They held Kamara. 89-yard rushing against the Saints is no joke. So, they're going up against Tampa Bay. You got Rashard White, who is kind of on the downside. Bucky Irving is now emerging as maybe the feature back. I don't know if that'll happen in this game. So the Eagles have a potential to really catch the Bucs at a decent time. But what I am afraid of is the Bucs passing game. I think that I'm still not 100% sold on the Eagles defensive backs yet. I thought that New Orleans did not throw as much as they could have. They were trying to set up the run because they knew the Eagles had been gashed for 2 straight weeks. And they ended up throwing on downs where the Eagles knew they were going to throw. And that played into the Eagles' hands. I don't think you'll see that with Baker. I think you're going to see him open up the offense. Remember, this is the team that knocked us out last year, and we're going back to the scene of the crime. So if anything, the Eagles should be motivated for this, but I don't want to see more of the same because he humiliated us last year.
Yeah. One thing that helped us, to your point on the down lineman, is that the set that they run, they have 2 tight ends in.
Right.
So that requires us to then come with that defense. The previous 2 weeks, the Falcons spread you out.
Yep.
They're going to put Pitts. He can go out. He may stay in, but they're going to spread you out, run it with Bijan. And then first week, same thing. They're going to spread you out. They're not going to go tight. As soon as the Saints came out tight, it was like, sometimes we were able to go single high safety and bring everything in. Now you're playing to our strengths. I thought it was so foolish at times the way they were playing. I was like, they're playing right to our strengths.
Right.
Now, to your point, Jalen Carter is getting lost in there because it's like you have so many down linebackers coming down. You don't know who's staying, who's going. That's okay. And then the push, though. But the effort I thought was different. I mean, you can see that even staying on Jalen Carter. You can see that even in the end,
Right.
when he was letting out his frustration and they were trying to calm him down. Clint Hurt was like, calm down. But that came from, he knows he hasn't pushed the line like that yet this year. And he got his shit off and he was happy about it. And I was happy for him. I didn't like everybody calming him down.
Just trying to prevent a penalty. Just trying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hurt did it right when he pulled him back off that sideline. But when he was all in the back, I thought it kind of got over. You know how extra people, how when you're upset and people just keep coming, you're just like, all right, man, get the fuck away from me. Like stop piling. Like, all right. Like, and then especially when there's people that don't even play, like Dom, Jalen Carter looked at Dom like, man, don't touch me, bro. Like, I will destroy you. I will destroy you. Why do people even know your name?
Yeah, he had the incident last year. Now he's everywhere. Like he's the dude. And
right. Like, don't put your hands on Jalen Carter.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
I'm sure they all have a good relationship and all of that. But anyway, yeah man, let's talk about the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're here. Not a lot of questions. Tonight could be an early night for us. All right for me about efficiency. I think this week it is loaded with talent, man. If you haven't got Juwan Jennings, I guess a good time is now, because at this point, why not? Ayuk hasn't shown you anything.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. I'm just in fantasy in general. Ayuk has been slow, hasn't really shown you a lot. You see Christian McCaffrey's in Germany.
Yeah.
In Germany right now. So that has to not sit well with a Niners fan.
The Niners are in trouble, and I'm not I don't like the Niners, but I don't wish this many injuries on one team. Debo is walking wounded, and now they found out Javon Hargrave is out for the season. So that's huge. That's a big part of that defensive line. He was for us. So yeah, Juwan is the breath of fresh air. They lost that game to the Rams, which was unbelievable that they lost that game, by the way.
Man.
And Juwan, again, it was infuriating to me. We talked about it last week, where I'm watching Juwan without Debo being in there, vulturing all of Ayuk's catches week to week. It's been Debo and Jennings, not Debo and Ayuk. And we've talked about how Ayuk was not in training camp and he waited and signed that contract. He's not playing like it. So it's like, when does the patience run out? I don't know what to do at this point. It's a very, very tough decision. So yeah, I can make a claim on Juwan. I'm 7th on the waiver wire. I don't expect him to be there. I made some other claims this week, so I don't even know if I put one in on Juwan, just because I don't think I'm going to get him. I prioritize somewhere else because I do have good wide receivers. But yeah, if you don't have a solid, or you need a third or fourth wide receiver, you definitely got to claim Juwan. He's the number one target this week. With all those injuries, he's got a rapport with Purdy, and there's just not many other people for him to throw to, dude.
Yeah, man. I could not believe it. I was watching that game, and then I couldn't believe that the Rams came back and won that. Man, Kyron Williams started going off. I just man. But
the Niners are in trouble. The Niners are in trouble. I mean, because you've got the walking wounded on the other side with the Rams as well. And that's not the same Niner defense that we saw last year. They're very banged up on both sides of the ball.
What you're missing in McCaffrey is, I know McCaffrey, people see it as numbers, but he can also, one thing McCaffrey can do is close out a game as well, too. And Jordan Mason, I'm sure he's still finding that, but you don't have that with them. Yeah, you can't just put it on his back and in the game. With McCaffrey, a lot of times, man, last year, they would just give it to him 10 straight times, or whenever you stopped him, and he would get you 4 or 5 a clip, first down after every 2 or 3 runs. So I think that's a problem too. They're definitely missing McCaffrey, man. It was such a big part of their offense last year.
And if you look at Mason's receiving, no, it's fine. If you look at Mason's receiving numbers, that's also where they're missing a little bit. He's been very dynamic, in the run game for him, and he matches that. But one of the things McCaffrey does is he was always that outlet for Purdy,
right?
During a blitz, and he would just toss it out to McCaffrey, and then McCaffrey just take off. And that's where he was like the most dangerous. If you blitzed Purdy, you knew that was going to be the hot read. And so if you weren't covering McCaffrey, and then even if you were, McCaffrey take one step and gone another 10,
5 in the 30.
So Mason, he's lack of experience. He needs to become as dangerous in that regard. But yeah, it's gonna be a weird first half of the season for a lot of the previously dominant teams in the NFC because they're all banged up. I mean, even the Eagles right now 2-1, great, but there's a lot of challenges ahead. We got Tampa Bay this week, then a bye week, and then Cleveland. It doesn't get any easier if you look at the schedule. And I was looking at it today and watching different highlight shows. And I was just like, man, even Carolina won this past week. It is the definition of parity in the NFL, where I can't tell you, we can say, yeah, the Vikings and the Bills are probably playing the best ball in each conference right now. But I still can't say who the best team is because there's so many good teams that are playing good ball right now. Even the 1 and 2 teams like Dallas and the Ravens and the Niners, these are good teams. Right. They're just going through some stuff. I tell you what, this is going to be a weird season. It's going to be crazy to see what ends up coming out of this.
Bring up the Eagle schedule over here.
Yeah.
Just even, we made that game against the Saints. Well, I know I thought we were going to have a good game. I did. I was confident on the pod last week.
Yeah.
Because I see where we make our mistakes at. A lot of these mistakes come from overconfidence at times.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's always like poor decision making. It's just like overconfidence. Even if we look at the Saints game.
Yeah.
The fumble, that was the only time I jumped up like, come on, man, you cannot just hot dog around with the ball like that. That's just irresponsible. The pick, I was 50-50 on. I was 50-50 on the pick because I was like, I get why you threw it, but you shouldn't have threw it to Smith.
Yeah.
Smith was not interested at all in crossing Honey Badger.
Yeah. No.
If you look at the route, he tries to take the route around up top.
Yeah.
Like almost for like a jump ball. Nah, man, that's a AJ Brown.
Yes.
Goddard, your big 6'7" Johnson dude.
Yep.
Maybe even the Paris Campbell. The two people you don't throw that to is Covey,
yeah,
and Devontae Smith. So it was, and then when the turnovers occur are when they are what makes them so heartbreaking because you're like this good drive, and then come on, man, then you piggyback that with poor decisions from your coach, and it's just like this is just stupid. Everything just looks stupid. So I think those compounding factors, man, it's like you can't make a mistake and make poor decisions in the same game. But I thought the second half they got everything together. I thought they looked really good.
Oh, I did too.
On the offense in the second half.
Once they clean up the mistakes, but they had opportunity to score a lot of points, partly off of Jalen and partly off of our coach that has now admitted that he made that really botched tush push call. And the fact that he's admitting that he can insert himself into Kellen Moore's play calling.
I've been telling you.
That pisses me off because he is not as hands off as he's supposed to be. And I think that when he's getting involved like that, he is bringing everything down. I don't think the players want him doing that shit. I don't think he has the locker room.
Right.
And it's going to make things a lot worse if he continues to act this way. And so it could have cost them the game again. I mean, you saw the fans in the stands and just watching him make the decision to go for it all over and over again. I that's your identity, whatever. But to go for the field goal or to pass up the field goal at the end of the half with 13 seconds left made absolutely no sense.
Yep.
Because what are you going to do? Throw it 2 times into the end zone with 13, and because you're going to have to take the time out if you get the botch tush push. Because you only had 1 time left.
Right.
Well, that means you've got no timeouts, 12 seconds left on the clock. What are you going to do? You're not on the goal line. So it was stupid. And then to go for the 60-yarder. So it's like, oh, now we're going to go for it, a field goal. We're going to put Jake Elliott on the line, make him the scapegoat, and give him in a bad situation where he has to do what he did against the Giants in 2017 and kick a freaking 60-yard field goal. Granted, Jake makes those a lot, but he was put in a bad situation. And then the result of that was a short field for the Saints. So this is Sirianni any other, you and I can make those decisions very easily. 100%. and this guy's botching them. So it's not great.
But
So,
it goes back to, mind you, the Eagles fans aren't just talking about just this time. There was a lot of decisions. I mean, if we want to be super petty, you go back to the 4th and 2 punt in the Super Bowl.
oh yeah, without a doubt.
Why'd you punt? You come on, man. Besides the fumble 6, the offense was rolling, man. And you then and in that moment, you feel like at midfield you can't get 2 yards.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like he doesn't make the gutsy decisions at the right time, and
the right time. He's a glory boy.
He makes the gutsy decisions at the wrong time, and
glory, man. I just
so
yeah, I thought it was and when I saw that interview too, where it said I can insert myself at any time, I said that's what I'm talking about. This is exactly why I'll hold him more accountable than anybody else.
Yeah,
because he's the head coach.
but
you know, with the Bucks, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, look at the schedule. These, you know, it's a schedule that on paper before the season that the Eagles definitely should be favored in a lot of these games and should have a chance of winning. But knowing the league the way it is, none of these are a given. The Giants games are definitely not a given because they got Malik Neighbors. They're starting to play better ball, but you know, the Eagles should have the upper hand. The Bengals game, who knows what Bengals team will face at that time, how desperate they'll be when we're going on the road to Cincinnati. You know, of course, the Cowboys are always a challenge. Now we got Jaden Daniels lighting it up in Washington. So it's a crazy, and we got to play the Ravens. Luckily, we got the Panthers, but now Andy Dalton's lighting it up. So it's like, why couldn't we play the Panthers week 1? But it is one of those things we got to play the Steelers. This is a very tough schedule. But that's because most of these teams outside of maybe where Jacksonville and Carolina are, and we don't know what Carolina will be in a few weeks, are not great. So yeah, it's going to be a weird season. It's going to be strange.
Bucks, I like, the Bucks. The Bucks have been iffy. I just like that Baker has been going to God well because I have him on my fantasy squad. Browns, man, I feel confident going against the Browns. The Giants, like you said, man.
Well, at least we're coming off a bye week with the Browns, and we're at home.
Right.
I don't think they'll have Chubb back by then, and they're kind of.
Isn't Garrett hurt? I'm not 100% sure. I thought Garrett was hurt.
Yeah. So
Giants, man, we should be able, because the Eagles, if we have a full roster, meaning AJ and Devontae is back, and by the way, that hit on Devontae Smith was dirty, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was a dirty hit. I cannot believe no flags were called.
I blame the officials for not blowing the whistle. His forward progress not only stopped, he was being driven backwards and no whistle. Yeah. And for what's his nuts, the freaking tight end, the announcer.
Moose?
No. The tight end for Carolina. Olsen. Yes, I couldn't remember his name.
Olsen, yeah.
For him to say, I just want to say that was in the back. Watch the replay, dude. You are blind. He hit him with his helmet. And then today, on the message boards, people going, well, he didn't hit his helmet. Bullshit. He didn't hit his helmet.
There's still a thing. So helmet to helmet would have been targeting. Okay. So it wasn't targeting. But there is a rule called unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, you won't get it in that because that's more like fighting, punching, egregious things. But on the football field, you can let a player know that's not going to be tolerated. And I thought they almost let it slide way too much. The hit was unnecessary.
No, it was. He was being driven backwards.
It was over.
And you got a guy 3 times his size decides he's going to spear a $150 receiver. Give me a break.
Power move. That was a bush league at best.
Break. Yeah, and then the play on Slay out of bounds. Those guys deserve to lose. And when you're playing like that, I mean, you want to drive a guy out of bounds, that's fine. They drive him all the way to the bench and through the bench. Come on, guys. And he gets hurt. I get the adrenaline, but they were, definitely could have put some real guys really on the IR. Luckily, Devontae just has a concussion, and hopefully he'll play this week. It doesn't look great. He's got to clear the protocol before Sunday. You know how they do with that crap. So I think that Lane is another one. Yeah, but I thought that the other Johnson that came in for him, was it Fred? Played extremely well.
Yo,
And I
I
thought
thought the
Mekhi
same
Becton
thing.
played
I
really
said,
well.
wait a minute, this
Yeah.
line is playing good on that
Yes.
right side. All of a
They
sudden, I was like, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking, I was telling Ish, I was like, I know we're down 2 linemen, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like we're down
Dude.
2 linemen.
And if you remember back in the playoffs in 2018 after the Super Bowl, was it 2018 where we lost to the Saints in the second round? We lost both of our right linemen. We lost Lane and the one that had the mental issues.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Brooks.
Yes. Lost him in that game, and it made it factor because the Eagles were up 14-0 at the start of that game with Foles quarterbacking. We lose those two guys, and the game just turns on a dime.
Right.
This one, it didn't, and that was nice because so I don't feel too bad about Lane being out. I want him back. Don't mistake me. I want him back as soon as possible. That bye, we're talking about, man, what's up with this early bye? It's going to be a well-deserved bye. Maybe get some of these guys some much-needed rest, and then get them back in for Cleveland. So that's why I worry about that the game this week, the Tampa Bay game, on the road against a team that's coming off a loss, a team that showed it's capable of going into Detroit and winning and playing good ball, had a down game. I think that it's going to be a battle, and it'll be a fun game to watch. But if we don't have our receivers, man, that's going to be
the drop off. We said it before the game. Look at and then we lose Covey, and now you have DeJean returning. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You have DeJean or Dejan. You have Dejan. So he's going. We know he's DeJean, but he's plays for Philly, so he's Dejan. That's just the way it is. But now that he comes in, he's turning punch, which he did that for Iowa, so we get that. But now I'm like, and here was the crazy thing: how does Dotson still not get out of all of that? He still doesn't get much. He just said, Jalen just said, you know what? I know where Goddard's going to be. We're just going to go back to that. Now, if we can encompass Goddard like that when AJ and Devontae is back, we'll be back to like that Super Bowl rhythm, because that was our Super Bowl rhythm. Goddard was eating, AJ was eating, and Smith was eating. And when all those three was eating, it looked good.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to give the ball to Saquon way more frequently. Didn't touch it in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was weird.
Didn't touch the ball in the first quarter. That's unacceptable.
Game plan was very strange. They were trying to get it to him in the passing game. It was just weird.
Unacceptable.
It begs to differ, though. That's a big point to make. Is Goddard's game? That's his biggest game in a long time. His career numbers for him. Is he a good free agent pickup if you can get him on the waiver wire? He may still be out there in some of the leagues. I don't know what.
Way.
Well, I'm just saying he hasn't done really well. He's kind of like one of those guys like Andrews. How long do you keep rolling him? So is he a future fantasy must start? For the Eagles, if you've got Goddard,
he would start this week in our league.
Yeah,
tighten up. But you're right. I mean, no doubt. In his last couple games, he hasn't had a good year at all. Yeah, 8, 7.
Yeah.
So, man, what a game. Goddard went off, man. Goddard and Saquon.
Yeah,
crazy, man.
Huge. So other free agent pickups that I'm looking at this week, and I don't really want to tell anybody. In fact, I won't say the one I'm really excited about and hoping I get, because I'm just not gonna say. But I'm glad I got Bucky Irving. If he's still available in your leagues, you need to grab him. There's a few others out there. Braylon Allen, if you haven't got him, we talked about him last week. I watched that Jets game, and I was watching it with clenched teeth, as he was on the field looking exceptional. Now, granted, the good thing about it was that the Jets didn't stray from Brees, but there's definitely going to be the reason I drafted Brees was in hopes that I would have a workhorse back. We talked about that during the draft. Do you draft a workhorse back, or you draft somebody in a platoon? There's very few workhorse backs out there. I had Gibbs running this week, and Montgomery was vulture and everything.
Man.
And Gibbs still had 22 points. Montgomery had 27. So it's really crazy. But there's some other good ones out there. Cam Akers had a really good day in support of.
Who has Cam? So he should be. Let me check out Cam real quick. Akers.
I don't know if anybody picked him up. Our league. Nope, he's picked up.
Yep. Hey, Willie.
But our league, is I don't want to toot our league's own horn, but we've got some vultures in our league. They go
100%.
after. They go
100%.
after.
You cannot sleep. It will be gone. Like
Yeah.
guys are grabbing guys in future.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I grabbed Irving in I want to say I grabbed him in the draft, but it's one of those things that I had him a long time ago, and now he's going to hopefully start to pay dividends. But yeah, Cam Akers is somebody while we're waiting on Mixon to come back. I have Mixon in another league. I'm very disappointed. I have Mixon and Brown, and it's very frustrating to me when you've got your starters out like that. I know how hard that is.
And Pierce is hurt.
Yeah.
So that's what helps.
Yeah. So Cam, Cam is not like a world beater,
right?
But he could be really solid going forth if those guys miss any length of time. We talked about Jaden Daniels. Another one that is hot on the waiver wire is the quarterback in Pittsburgh. Had a good game.
Oh yeah, Justin Fields. I didn't watch that. Yeah, I saw the highlights from a fantasy perspective. I'm still not picking him up. Winning in real life and winning in fantasy is not one and the same.
No. Granted, the Steelers defense is doing a lot of this, but I thought he had his best complete game as a Steeler.
Right.
But again, you're playing the Chargers, who are another one of these teams that are banged up all over the place. Herbert
left in the third quarter.
So yeah, and he's not
third or fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was already hurt coming in,
right.
And yeah, so Fields had a good day. So if you need a backup quarterback, maybe I have. I'm at the point where I don't know what I'm going to do with Richardson. I'm going to hang on to him for a little bit, see if he bounces back, but he definitely ain't starting for me.
Man, you better than me, man. With the tight roster spots, I don't know if we can, all you guys that can carry two quarterbacks, man, y'all better than me because I can't do it. I think that's why I draft a lot of guys that unless we have an injury, right, I'm going to start them. And that's why, that's why I kind of teased the chat a little bit about with Josh Allen, because I love that Joe would have normally had Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I would have had Patrick Mahomes, and Joe would have won this week, like the high score. I think he ended up being third because Daniels and Moss got a bunch of points right at the end.
Right.
So Endless Cockpit or Esco, he got he benefited from that. So just more so like trolling them, like, yeah, y'all got my quarterback, but I still have a good quarterback. So, and he went off. I thought it was fitting because I literally went from, man, am I even going to win? So, damn, I won the money. And I didn't even know that I won high score. I guess as soon as I went up, my brother texted me like, man, back-to-back weeks I lost to the high score. And I was like, that does suck. That does suck. Like, let's keep it real, especially when you were second high score last week. Like, he scored 2-something, and the other dude, the male, scored 220, 230.
Yeah.
You score 200 points and lose. That's brutal. So, but then he told me, that's when I knew that I won high score. I don't check the league scores. I feel like every time I'm close, just like when I'm watching the player.
Yeah.
Every time I feel like I'm watching the player I go up against.
Yeah.
That's the only player that gets the ball now. Can you imagine how I felt watching that Chiefs game? I'm sitting there like, so is every pass going to go to Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
I want my guy, every pass? Like, come on. And I'm watching the numbers. I'm like, God damn. Then I got Drake London bailed me out with 20. He got that first touchdown. I was like, okay, cool. And then so Drake London, man, helped me out a lot too, getting that 20 out of nowhere. But I like Mooney better.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say another free agent pickup there is Darnell Mooney in Atlanta, that if you're looking for wide receiver help, he was somebody I would definitely recommend. I was really glad the Falcons put up a little bit of a fight against the Chiefs, because I would have felt bad if they got blown out after just beating the Eagles in Philly. I'd have been like, that's a bad sign. But yeah, Darnell Mooney is starting to get Cousins' attention.
Yeah, go from first. They didn't really have the ball. I mean, Watt was you can't really take the week one because they were getting destroyed. Watt was in his bag in week one. So he's anchoring the hell out that Pittsburgh defense, man. They are. That line is vicious.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Makes a difference. If you've got that defense working, it makes the offense look so much better.
Even when you watch them play, just the way their intensity.
Yeah.
In general.
Ooh,
Their
speaking of
intensity
Pittsburgh,
is crazy.
speaking of Pittsburgh, Calvin Austin, if he's available in your league, that's another one that I would recommend picking up. Calvin Austin had a good day.
He took a slant.
Yep.
It was a little slant, took it to the house.
It can't all go to Pickens. So this kid is looking really good and he's young. I definitely, if you can't get Jennings or one of these big names, that may be the guy. He may be the guy.
He's trending 6th.
Oh,
So
yeah. See, there he is.
Deontay Johnson is back in
On our
play.
screen, I can't see them as well. So I'm like, I have my own little version over here that I try to look at.
Sometimes, let me see. I have to like adjust it sometimes.
Yeah. No. You're fine. It's just I have a smaller screen.
But I do know sometimes that it can, depending on how I have it zoomed.
Yeah.
It can come in a lot clearer. So I think because I have it.
I can see it to an extent, but it's all good. It's all good. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're doing. See, I'm old. So
but I knew exactly what you was talking about. Depending on how I
on my cell phone.
Yeah, me and my wife.
So it's all good. It's all good.
I'm just trying because if you can't see it, then people watching on their screen, it may be a little fuzzy. So I'm just trying to adjust it for everybody. So
I can see it well enough, but yeah,
hopefully that works enough. Okay, cool. All right, man. So we talked about this kid.
Ayasavas, the Romanian. Yeah, he had a game last night. That was impressive
down the stretch
for a rookie, and he established himself as another target for Burrow. Which, I mean, they did not have a bad game offensively. The defense just got rolled by Washington. But I thought the Bengals played pretty well offensively, considering their season that they've had so far.
Right.
So I thought that was probably their best offensive game.
Man.
Burrow got to chase a couple times. So yeah, it was interesting. That's not a bad pickup.
Oh shit, his name is Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan.
Out of here.
That must have been a Chicago Bulls.
Where is he from?
Lil Jordan.
Where's he from?
You went to Texas. I don't know.
I mean, I don't tell you a whole lot.
Jordan Humphrey.
What?
Lil Jordan.
His mama named him Lil Jordan. Yeah. So I'm gonna call him Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan. Exactly. Yeah, I don't trust the Broncos yet. That's my only thing.
But
there are teams that I'm really struggling to like pick up a player on because I'm not so ready to jump on the bandwagon. Yeah.
So I have Sutton.
Yeah.
Solid week, 11 targets, but there hasn't been a touchdown thrown in Denver yet.
Yeah.
Not one touchdown thrown. So, man, I'm here with the local media. You would think they won the Super Bowl this weekend, boy. And that's I think they just was happy to get that.
Yeah.
They probably, see Tampa coming in 2-0.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking we're going to get killed. And then they played a really, really, really good game, man. The run game was going. Bo looked good. And it worked out for him, man.
And that's why I kind of worry about Tampa Bay coming, going back home and licking their wounds. They're going to practice extra hard this week.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think if we can get to Baker, I noticed in the Detroit game, Hutchinson had like 5.5 sacks.
He was all over the field.
Something ridiculous where he was getting to Baker, and if maybe that can be our Bryce Huff breakout game. So I'm just trying to manifest it. I'm just trying to manifest it. Because we need something off our edges, bro. We aren't getting anything from our edge.
We're Sweat. Not doing anything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, nothing from Sweat either. So yeah, I agree with you. It makes that loss of Reddick, loom large. Maybe the Eagles could have paid Reddick and then not brought in Huff, but whatever.
Yeah, them's the breaks. Running backs, which is the tightest of any group. Most of the guys that are here, you already have Bucky Irvin.
Yep.
Braylon Allen. This
monster.
Kid.
As I mentioned earlier, watch him play,
man.
Yeah. If he continues the way he is, the share is going to, increase. His share is going to increase week to week, and Breece is going to go down. I still think Breece is going to, unless he gets hurt, Breece is going to be the dude. But Braylon Allen for coming in hot right now.
Braylon is talented. I'm sorry, he is, but Bryce, not Bryce, man. Breece. he's really dynamic. When he gets the
Yeah.
ball, you can see he's a different type of running back, different type of athlete.
Yeah.
You see when they asked Allen after the game, why you think you? I don't know if it was after the game or but they asked him, "Hey man, when are you? Why did you drop to the 4th round?" And he was like, "Because I didn't run around in my underwear."
Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, that's such a big shot. Like, yeah, how did this kid drop to the 4th round? I don't understand. I mean, how did he do against Michigan when he played you guys?
You know what? Yeah, he was always solid. So, but Michigan had last year. Michigan just had an amazing defense. I don't think we played Wisconsin last year. We didn't play Wisconsin last year. So, with the different setups, I can't remember how they played the year before that. But yeah, they didn't play them last year.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think we beat that, man.
Yep. There's some good ones out there. There's one that we haven't discussed, and I'm not mentioning his name.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning his name. I'll tell you on Thursday whether I got him or not. I probably won't.
I'm gonna look down. Let me see if I could even guess.
But
in our league,
I don't know if he's even trending, but I know that he had a game this week, and I think that he'll have a good game going forward.
I know a lot of people was here was the people that I know was trending this week. Coughlin was trending. Obviously, if you dropped a Duze,
I had Conklin. I had Conklin and Ferguson, and I dropped Conklin for Henry because Conklin had been injured.
Yeah.
And then Conklin goes off. So, that is what it is. I hope Ferguson stays healthy because I think he's the better tight end.
Yeah. I have him in my other league. I started him this week.
Yeah.
But I had Kamara and Connor. They got me nothing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, that was a rough week for them.
Let's look at who couple matchups for this week coming up. Week 4. Man, this season's already flying. It's already week 4, man. Damn.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, having fun. All right. I have CDE Dave free. Will 40 chunks. Slated to lose by 2 points. Josh Allen against Dak. Oh, man, Dak has the Giants. That could be fake.
Yeah, that sucks.
Jacobs has looked solid.
He's playing Minnesota.
But that's good because, man, Minnesota's defense is tricky, man.
Yep, they are.
I know everybody, even though we beat it last year, remember they brought all those guys down to the line, they was and scatter them out. And it was starting to, like, the first quarter was like iffy. And then we started catching on. And then we ended up handling that defense just fine. But
they're tough.
When you're playing good defense and you have a good running back, that works out a lot. Going against Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I don't like going against Bengal players right now because I know they're hungry.
And they're playing Carolina, so oops.
I know they are hungry.
Yeah, they need a win. Evans against the Eagles, that could be huge.
Yeah, I got some bad matchups, man.
You got Godwin though going up against the Eagles, and again, I don't want to slag too much on the Eagles because they had a great game against New Orleans, but we know that their defensive backfield is susceptible to giving up big plays. So even though they drop everybody back 20 yards off the ball, so Godwin and Evans could have a good day against the Eagles. So we'll see.
Man,
it looks like a pretty good matchup all the way around. I mean,
yeah, no doubt. But I don't like that. I don't want a good matchup all the way around. I want 17 injured players on this side, all healthy guys on this side, and I want to not worry about my fantasy team at all on Sunday.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I'm just, but yeah, man, it is a good matchup.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson, I like this kid, man. I was trying to get him.
I have a friend who has him, and I told him every week to start him because he's been playing really well. Again, another reason that is to worry about Washington this year. They're up and coming.
Then Eckler gets a concussion, which surprise. Nobody's surprised by that.
Right? He was having a great game too.
Yeah, but then going into next week, if you're starting them against Arizona, Brian Robinson is all you have, which is really good because we don't know if Eckler is going to clear protocol.
Yep,
he has a history of this. So,
and considering that was Monday night, the odds are worse than Devontae.
So this 13, 14, 15, this drops off.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, does Brian get you 30? So, man, who is this Jeremy McNichols? Oh, he's bounced around the league a lot. Okay.
Yeah. It really just matters how the defense plays against them, and so we'll see.
You got the Jets against Denver. I don't like that. I'm staying with Houston this week. against Jacksonville.
Oh, I would. Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this should work out. Like this, but I don't know. I don't really know what the hell is going on in Jacksonville. I'm not really surprised by Trevor Lawrence because really, when you look back, he's been up there top 5 turnovers every year.
Yeah.
You know, he's even led it one year. I think he has the most turnovers since he has started. It's like 65 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a man. But I guess if anybody can help him out, maybe Doug can down there. I still don't have any hope for these guys just yet. McBride, he may be out because he has a concussion, so may put Schultz in this week. I may pick up Conklin. You never know what I do with the waiver wire. You never know. So that's my little matchup this week.
I hear you. Yeah,
we'll talk about that Thursday as well. But yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go to yours. Who you got this week, man? That we'll talk about more on Thursday. Oh no, this week. Let's go to week 4.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Where are you at?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Florida man. You going against old Janky Joe.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That should be interesting. Henry against Buffalo. That should be a great game. And it depends on how the Buffalo defense contains him. That could help me out quite a bit. I haven't settled on my lineup completely yet. So I'm not even sure who I'm starting, if Ayuk's going to get another shot with me or not. But, you know, he does have a good lineup. You know, Cook is solid. Henry's been solid. So, yeah, Lazard's been coming on. So Lamb and Lazard are pretty good. And Brock Bowers at tight end. It's a good lineup.
Yeah, Brock Bowers.
Jordan Mason at flex. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm in trouble.
That is telling. That is telling when you can put Jordan Mason at your flex there.
Yeah.
Moody. Goff. Goff against Seattle.
Yeah, but you got to start.
You got to start Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's against the Chargers, who may not have Herbert this week. So,
yeah.
I think he picked up. Oh, that's why he picked up Kansas City's defense. I seen that pickup. Was it this week or something like that?
It had to been today because I was looking at that one. I was looking at who I was going to replace Dallas with. So he must have picked that up today.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we'll dive into that a little bit more on Thursday. This just to get you ready. Hold on. Start 2. We got a question right as we almost out of here. We'll take that. Start 2. Flowers, DK, Devontae, or Singletary. Off the top of my head, man, I'm going DK and Singletary. What you think about that, Lee?
It's a tough one. Well, Devontae, of course, we don't know if Devontae's in against Tampa Bay. I would probably start him. I definitely would start DK. The Singletary thing is he is running like crazy, and he's playing against a team that's given up a lot on the ground. Is this the week that Dallas finally stops a running back? I don't know. So I think you got to plug Singletary in on the basis of that Dallas has been given a lot up on the ground, and Singletary's the bell cow. So I like Singletary in that matchup and probably DK. So I think I agree with you. I would maybe lean a little bit.
If Smith sits, I was anticipating Smith not playing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he'll clear concussion.
So yeah, let me clear that up. If Smith plays,
yeah,
I'm going Smith, and man, I would probably have to go. Man, let me look. I would have normally went Singletary, but I'm going DK just because 1, he is getting the ball, and 2, they're playing against Detroit. It could be a shootout.
I would go right now DK and Singletary because of the way the Dallas run defense has been. I mean, they're getting gashed the last 2 weeks, so yeah, we'll see. And it's in New York, so
yeah, man. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yep,
for you. Drop us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Because you're on YouTube. I gotta put that little next time we got a ticker at the bottom, man. Everybody know. I just like to come on here and hang out, man. Talk about the league, all that good stuff. But we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back on Thursday, about an hour before kickoff. Yeah, man, and get you ready for this week. Come step by and learn from the high score guy. Now I'm up against it this week, man. But we'll get in that into Thursday. You got anything before we get out of here, Greg?
Nah, I think I'm good. I'm just looking for a win, looking for that first dub. Good Lord.
Hey, man. And just like that, we're gone later.